Martin.
Well, I think there's a lot of great bands, you know, in the Christian music industry, and I think there's a lot of great spiritual bands. I don't want to say Christian because they're not in the Christian music business, but there's a lot of them that are just in the mainstream. And there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of very spiritual music floating around. You got Mumford & Sons, people like that. I mean, these guys, you know, were raised in church. So I think that the industry has changed a lot. I think it had to evolve to survive, you know, in the way it's done. And in the beginning, we thought, you know, in the beginning, you're idealistic. And you think if we just stick to what we do, at some point, you know, it's going to work. And it did work. Musically, it all worked. And we have no, you know, there's nothing, like Steve said, nothing bad to say about that. But it was funny coming from the West Coast, because everything on the West Coast was so insular. And you had your own scene, you had your own radio stations. And because we'd get played a lot on a radio station in LA, we would think, oh, this is going to be big because there's all these other radio stations, but then the radio stations over here, you know, in the South or in the North, middle of the country, they were playing Sandy Patty still, which is fine, but it wasn't our thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to say about other bands and things, I wouldn't ever want to judge another person's heart. It's tempting, you know, and it's hard not to be cynical, but that's wrong, and there's always good things going on. In any time period, you know, you can look back and go, why, back in the 70s, they were writing great songs, but there's really bad songs written too. Mm-hmm. And right now, there's really good things going on. But there's always a problem with art and commerce. And then when you add faith to it, art, commerce, and faith, that's a problem as far as what I think. I think art should be honest. I think that we need people should be telling the truth. So I encourage that. And any band that I work with in the studio, you asked, I encourage them to tell the truth. How do you really feel? And let's make the record that you want to hear and say what's true in your heart and see what happens.
Love is strange to understand. Winter winds blow. Does the truth sting badly?